Good morning, kids. How is everybody doing? I hope everyone's doing fantastic. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I have my coffee. I hope you have your coffee too. We're gonna get going here. I'm running a little late as usual. I mentioned before, I'm not a morning person. It takes me a while to get going and get everything situated. I am not Speedy Gonzalez, let's just put it that way. So I wanted to, first of all, before I go into anything, I want to do my usual greets and hellos to the various folks that are on the various platforms that I'm on. Hello to everybody on YouTube, on D Live. Hello to everybody on Periscope, and hello, of course, to everybody on Bitwave. How are you guys doing? Oh boy. Yes. Ooh, let's see. Why is that buffering? There we go. Okay. Just want to make sure everything's working hunky-dory as it should. Seems like every weekend platforms, frameworks, computer systems decide they want to do their own thing. So coming back on Monday, getting them back to work sometimes is a struggle. Technology for you. But anyways, we were talking Friday a little bit about this whole Ghislaine Maxwell versus Giuffre case, and there is so much in that docket. I was perusing it a little bit. I was going through a little bit of it, and I am nowhere near complete. So I don't have a whole lot to add to that discussion. I had mentioned I was going to talk about it more today, but unfortunately, because of just how much information is there, there's still so much that I want to go through before I actually start talking about it in a more serious fashion. Maybe we can save that for the Thursday stream. Make that a single topic stream. Hold on, let me make a quick adjustment here. Sorry, there you go. That should be a little better. So let's see. I'm gonna keep my eye on it and try to pursue it and try to see what I can do with that. But one thing that I did find interesting about the entire docket was that this isn't anything recent. If I'm not mistaken, and you know what? I should still have the page up. So I'm going to take a quick look to make sure that I'm remembering correctly. I am. Okay, so this whole thing started in 2015. That's the thing that I find very fascinating. The first document that was filed for this docket was September 21st, 2015. It was a complaint against Ghislaine Maxwell by Virginia Giuffre. And there's the PDF, and there's everything that you could read about that here in this docket. But the thing that really surprises me more than anything is not just the date, the fact that it's in September of 2015, it's the issue that until now, like 5 years later, is when we're actually talking about this thing. Is when it's actually being looked at in the news as a serious news item. I mean, I just find it very fascinating that the media didn't deem this as a large story. Now, there may have been some mentions in the news or things like that, but it's kind of like what's happening over the weekend. You know, you saw this trend, which was honestly a really funny trend to me, because I just go online and I see the hashtag Bill Clinton is a pedo. Is a pedophile. Bill Clinton is a pedo. And I was like, huh, okay. And this is something that has been accused of Bill Clinton for a while. This is something that has been accused of anybody who's associated greatly and traveled many times to the Epstein Island. This accusation it's not anything new, especially towards Bill Clinton. Prince Andrew is another person that has had a lot of these kind of accusations hurled in their direction, and of course, I'm always going to be of the opinion, much like our judicial system, innocent until proven guilty. But when you have someone who has a painting of you in a blue dress that was involved in a presidential scandal that you are involved in, first of all, it's weird enough to have a painting of a politician in a male politician in a blue dress. First of all, it's weird enough for that. Add on top of everything what Bill Clinton has done in his life, along with everything that is being accused in terms of like the evidence. This isn't even just conjecture or conspiracy theory. He has been ID'd in these documents. He has been directly accused by the victims in this case, as well as being in the flight logs many times. And on top of that, in previous cases, nobody really wanted to help the prosecution when Epstein was, I think, arrested the first time for this and actually convicted of child prostitution, if I'm not mistaken. So it begs the question that, who were those that collaborated? Who were those that tried to fix the situation? Who were those that cared enough? Honestly, really, that's what it boils down to. Who are those that cared enough to pursue this? Definitely not the media. They're not. They don't even care now. And there's people, and the most depressing thing about that trend that I was talking about is that you have people defending Bill Clinton. You have people defending and this was something that happened also in when he was being impeached. And he was being not accused. I mean, apart from him being accused, he actually did what he did back then. So you have people that support him no matter what. And I understand there's people who drink the Kool-Aid. They're going to support their guy no matter what. I get that. It's dumb. It's cult. It's a cult-like mentality that their glorious leader can do no harm. Same thing with everybody that defended Obama, no matter what lies he said to your face. You like your doctor, you can keep it. Remember, he lied directly to American people about many a thing. There were many a scandal in his administration, yet the media just ignores it. People just ignore it. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. You know? And then you have articles. There was one article. I have to verify the veracity of this, because it could be true. It could be just the partisanship because it's the Gateway Pundit. And the Gateway Pundit, I haven't seen any outright lies. Hey, Illustrator. Yeah, it's a little slow in chat today. Hello, Troll JEDF. Welcome to the stream. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I'm serious. I completely zonked out there for a second. Oh, right. That there was no critiques at all of the administration. And and I was talking about the Gateway Pundit. The Gateway Pundit, they wrote an article, and I don't know. Again, I got to verify the veracity of this because I don't know how true it is. But they were saying that the prosecutor in the previous case against Epstein was interviewed, and he was talking about how the only person that they tried to help was Trump. Now, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they aren't the most reputable source. But in the past, I've seen some articles that come out for them, and if they're just quoting people directly, they show people's quote and they show the source, or they show a tweet. I mean, whatever spin they put on it is their own spin. But when you hear a person's quote, and this was the guy's quote, that's when I start paying more attention to those kind of articles. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Gateway Pundit. I'm sure they're not. I know that they have a very clear bias. They're a biased news source, much like CNN is a biased news source. So take that with a grain of salt, for sure. But it is interesting that the prosecutor would say that, regardless of the source of the article. So, hey intruder, welcome to the stream. Topics are we're gonna talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend, which I've been talking. I'm kind of continuing what we talked about on Friday because I was talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell case. And I was mentioning that there isn't much for me to report personally because I haven't had an opportunity to go through every single document. It's huge. I mean, we're talking about 5 years of case documentation here that you would need to go through to get a proper context of everything. So I'm trying to find the more juicy tidbits here. So it's a little complicated to go through, and I was not able to make a lot of headway over the weekend. So that's the only thing. I will be chipping away at it, and I'm hoping maybe by Thursday maybe we can dedicate Thursday to a complete Epstein Ghislaine Maxwell versus Giuffre kind of show, and see what we can figure out, or just kind of talk about it, discuss it, make it interactive. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we can do, or just little by little, the more little juicy tidbits I find out about it, I may just drop in there, in my various morning shows and etc. So we'll figure it out. We'll see what we can do with that. Other news items that I'm just gonna talk about, things that are happening right now. The usual rundown of the news of the day. One thing that was interesting was that Biden's son-in-law took a lot of the PPP loans while Biden was criticizing Trump as cronyism. Well, the campaign. Well, Biden has done it too. So you have Joe Biden's son-in-law as an executive and received a loan in April from the Paycheck Protection Program. And this is the very program that Biden's campaign derided as a cronyism scheme for President Trump's associates, which Biden himself said was not focused on small business. The PPP is a program that was aimed at making sure workers did not miss paychecks during the coronavirus crisis, and is credited with saving more than 51 million jobs. Biden's son-in-law, Dr. Howard Krein, if that's how you pronounce it, is a chief medical officer at Startup Health, a company which received PPP loans between $150,000 and $350,000 to protect 18 jobs. Ryan also served as an informal advisor to Biden's campaign, specializing in coronavirus-related issues. So, I mean, if this was cronyism, and everything was so bad, and these things it was only for the benefit of Trump and his buddies, why would Biden's family partake in that? This kind of goes back to my whole discussion about the hypocrisy that's on the left. They say one thing, they do another. They accuse you, do as I say, not as I do. They complain, for example, about, and this is not even just on the left, honestly. In this particular case that I was gonna give you an example of, there's cases of people in Congress, for example, saying how terrible big tech is on the right. Yet you have Jim Jordan and other people getting huge monies from big tech. Hypocrisy is probably one of the biggest issues that we face in this day and age, because there seems to be no consequence for it. There seems to be no consequence for it. There seems to be no calling out on it. And even if there is calling out, again, nothing happens. Nothing happens. These people can continue to be You could go on Fiverr and pay some random to search juicy bits from the document. Probably. Yeah. I could probably do that. I have some people that I know that could probably even do that for free, because they're equally as interested in digging up this information. It's just that they're also very busy people like I am. So you're going through 5 years of docket files. It's not going to be easy to peruse every single one, and some of these aren't even relevant anymore, because something was filed, then it was dismissed, then it was removed, or stricken from evidence, and blah blah blah, and all this kind of stuff. So you have to kind of peruse the whole thing and figure out what's worth looking at and what's not worth looking at, really, at the end of the day. Chinese tried a hostile takeover of Nokia after Corona hit. They tried to make Huawei the only one with 5G tech. Now Nokia had a Finnish CEO, so they should be fine. Not sure exactly what that's about. Are you referring to some other thing in chat? It seems like that's referring to some other video or something like that. Drinking some of my coffee here. A little hot. Gotta wait for it to cool down a little more. But anyways, that's the biggest thing. You have a lot of hypocrisy, and there's no consequence. So you have, like, for example, Matt Getz. He spoke out against big tech, saying that Google and other big tech companies are interfering with elections. He called Google the most dangerous election interference organization in the world, and I have to agree. Big tech in general, Facebook, Google, Twitter especially, these companies pose a real threat to the integrity of elections, not only in the United States, but around the world. They have clear influence on communications and how people get their news, and how much exposure individuals get. Just look at my account, for example. I'm not anything special when it comes to my account, yet I'm being suppressed. I'm a veritable nobody in the sphere of politics and media and the news and anything. But Twitter deems it that I am unworthy of having any sort of realistic exposure, or even keeping the people that follow me. I had been stuck at around 7,000 followers, for example, for the longest time, in spite of what Twitter has done. And now I'm down to 6,990, because Twitter just keeps hemorrhaging my followers little by little, keeps chipping them away. So, and I'm not just trying to help myself and tell people to follow me. It's just a really frustrating thing that people have to face. And this has happened on larger scale people. You had YouTube really seriously going after Steven Crowder, for example, 4 million followers, and he risked losing it all in 1 second with a flip of the switch because of one guy on Vox that was all butthurt over just Crowder joking and saying things, ripping into his videos, showing them how false they were, and showing how factually inaccurate they were, and how much they were biased, and how much he was lying, how much this Vox reporter was lying. So it appears that big tech is just out to really unequivocally influence elections. And I mean, it's obvious because they've also banned politicians that are like candidates that were running for certain elections. Nothing on the presidential scale as of yet, but they definitely are cutting into like lower, like more localized elections, and that's equally as bad. Just because it's not a presidential election in some country or even the United States, it doesn't mean that their interference is not bad. It's definitely bad. They shouldn't be doing that, period. It really is a terrible thing. It really is a terrible thing. And the problem is that you have people that in Congress that are bought and paid for by big tech. Again, more hypocrisy. The mayor of DC exempts John Lewis funeral attendees from city's quarantine restrictions. Gee. Imagine that. There's one tweet that says, gee, imagine that, rules for the little people. Yeah. Oh, you can't go. And, if you travel to DC, you need to quarantine yourself. You can't go anywhere once you go to DC. Oh, if you go to New York, you can't go out and about. You need to quarantine yourself for 14 days if you come from certain states. You want to go to church? You want to worship? No, you can't do that. No. Who cares if it's your First Amendment right? Who gives a rat's ass about that? These guys that want to riot, pillage, set stuff on fire, hurt people, they're good. Oh, a leftist politician died, and everybody wants to gather for that. Oh yeah, that's okay. What, your mother died, your father died, your grandparents died? No, you can't go to their funeral. That guy, everybody can go and visit him and don't need to worry about any of the rules, any of the restrictions, because coronavirus apparently respects the fact that this was an elected official that served our country. They won't get anybody sick there. Oh, but if you set one pinky toe in a church just because you want to actually worship, or you want to visit your dead grandma, or pay respects, no, you can't do that. Really. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. It's unbelievable. Nobody wants a 5G monopoly from China, sir. Or the government, no. I don't know if 5G, I've been hearing a lot of rumors regarding 5G. This is the thing. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about 5G. I'll get into that in a moment, but I want to keep going on what I was talking about right now. Speaking again, we're on the topic of hypocrisy. Look at what happened with the hearing with Dr. Fauci, for example. You have Jim Jordan, which I criticized him, yeah, but Jim Jordan has his moments. where he was grilling Dr. Fauci about the social distancing and all the rules that he was, espousing regarding the coronavirus. He was saying you can't go, you can't gather, you can't do that. Would you say that it's a good idea to the government to intervene to reduce the amount of protests that are happening? And Fauci would not say that. The only thing Fauci would say is, I say don't gather in any crowd. That's it. But then you have like Scalise, Rep Scalise, talking to in the same hearing, saying the stopping flights from China and Europe save lives, and Fauci says yes. And did early domestic strategies to slow the spread and save? Did early domestic strategies slow the spread and save lives? And Fauci says he believes he did. It believes it did. But going back to what he was saying with Jim Jordan, he won't even say that the crowds gathering for protests should not. Again, hypocrisy. When it's something that he's okay with, you shouldn't date. You shouldn't do sports. You shouldn't gather in church, according to Fauci. You should wear a mask, but not only a mask. Now you gotta wear goggles. Next thing you know, he's gonna say, just go out in a full hazmat suit. We're gonna all be like, on episodes of Star Trek when they need to go outside of the ship and they put on the hazmat, the space suits. We're gonna have to all walk around with that, according to Fauci. As if we're on a contaminated wasteland. Or on a foreign planet where the atmosphere does not support life. I mean, it's getting to the point of ridiculous. It really is. And it's not so much the fact that, again, I understand there are those concerns that need to be addressed about the spread of the virus, flattening the curve, making sure, people that are infected get treated, all that kind of stuff. I get that. I'm not even arguing against that. I say, if you need to take reasonable steps, to ensure the safety of people, I'm okay with that. But the key word there is reasonable steps. So it really becomes a big issue then when they come out with these edicts and say, well, you have to do this and you have to do that. And you go, well, yeah, but you're not applying the same rule to everybody here or to the same crowd. And then you have people like Cuomo, who, there was this tweet that I saw that I thought was funny. It says, retweet if you want, the New York Governor Cuomo arrested for the thousands of nursing home patients who died from COVID. And then people there's an article about how Governor Whitmer is saying that Republicans are playing games because they don't want coronavirus patients in nursing homes. I mean, it blows your mind. It really blows your mind. And again, the family of these victims weren't even able to see them before they died. They weren't given last rites, wakes, or funerals. But Lewis can get all the fanfare that he got. He can have all the people going on there using him as a prop. That's the other thing that I find it incredibly disturbing when I see these big funerals of politicians, especially nowadays. It's always been done, but nowadays it's especially been done, and I've only seen this done particularly on the left. I haven't seen the right do this so much, and maybe I just haven't seen this sort of thing on the right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this one. So if there's evidence of this to show me, please do show me what's going on that one. But I've seen on the left many a time the stumping at the funerals and wakes of leftist politicians that have passed away. They served our country. Whether you agree with them or not, they served our country. That's fine. Pay them the respect that they're due. I say pay the respect to all dead. I have a big reverence for those that passed away. But for the left to just use the corpse of these people, the caskets of these people as podiums, standing on them as a soapbox, I don't think that's appropriate. That shows zero respect for Lewis, for example. I don't think that's appropriate at all. By the way, on a side note, I think that the titling may not be correct on some of the streams. Don't mind that, please. I tried to update it. I don't know what happened. It didn't seem to go through on, I think, on Periscope. It may not have updated properly. So I just, even if it says episode 24 in July 31st, ignore that or whatever. I just want to throw that out there as a side note. So yeah. And another thing that, speaking of Michigan, that's happening today is that there are votings happening today. So if you're in Michigan, go out there, go to the polls. Let's get rid of some of the trash that's in local governments. In any state that's voting, I don't know if any other state is voting today. I know Michigan is, but I implore everybody in any state that's voting today, or that voted yesterday, or voted before, or it's going to be voting soon. Go out there. Remember, don't be complacent. And I'm not ending the stream just yet. Go to the polls and start stripping. That's right. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that to me, Destructor. You're going to get me in trouble. YouTube's going to lay the ban hammer on me. But I mean, this is a good opportunity to get conservatives and Republicans, not just Republicans, because I don't really believe in parties like that, but conservatives that actually want to fix issues, fix the country. Let's get rid of these horrible people like Governor Whitmer and Governor Cuomo and Governor Newsom and Pelosi. Get rid of these people. Sorry, taking a sip of my coffee here. Hike the fucking pants up? What? Are we trashing Murderer again here? What's going on? No, but really, local elections, there's arguments to be made that local elections actually have a more direct impact on people as well. So it's very important for people to be very conscious of who they put in government. I mean, just look at what's been happening with this COVID thing. This is a clear example of when you have bad governance versus good governance. Bad governance is obviously Newsom. It's obviously Whitmer. It's obviously Cuomo. It's obviously de Blasio. It's obviously Pelosi, Schumer. These people have done horrible jobs at what they do. I have no idea what Chad is talking about. Talking about trannies now? The people are chasing trannies? I don't even know what's going on. Right. Yeah, you may not want to go nude to the polls. That probably isn't a good idea. I mean, if you wanna strip naked after you vote, I mean, go for it. That won't invalidate your vote. But when you go in there, you probably want to keep your clothes on. Tip of the day: keep your clothes on until after the deed is done. Then you can have all the fun you want, apparently. But I am kidding, by the way. I'm not endorsing public nudity or anything like that. Okay, let's just be clear. But yeah, it's again, it boils down to hypocrisy. It boils down to hypocrisy, not calling out what these people are doing. Yep. Tip of the day, kids. And another tip of the day that I'm gonna give right now is some shameless self-promotion. If you like these tips of the day and you like hearing me go on and on about political ramblings and things of that nature, please consider supporting me. Streamlabs.com/theeternalabits. Any level of generosity is greatly appreciated. And as I mentioned, Twitter is really slapping people down. They're really putting down the ban hammer and just suppressing people, suppressing my tweets, suppressing followers, just stripping away followers. You have prominent accounts that are, just because they have a dissenting opinion, are being censored. Not just mine. So please follow on all the different platforms. Even better than financial support right now, honestly, is following and sharing and helping people like myself grow. That is an even greater gift right now, because who knows how long I'm going to be on such platforms, especially with Twitter, that they keep really tightening that grip and making things harder and harder for people to just have an organic growth through their social media platforms. So please follow on Twitter and follow on Gab. I'm on gab.com. I'm on parler.com. I am on minds.com. And follow on all the video platforms as well. I'm on YouTube, Periscope, DLive, Vidwave, of course, and I try to archive on library, lbry.com, as well as BitChute. I know, far behind on that. I've really been lazy about it. Maybe I need to pay a Fiverr person to just do that for me as well. I don't know. We'll have to figure out some way to automate that, maybe. We'll see. But the point is, the reason why I'm on so many platforms. Sorry, I just saw what was said in chat. I'll repeat that in a moment, but I'll finish my shameless self-promotion. So basically, the reason why I'm on all these platforms is exactly for that reason. Reason is because I don't know which one I'm going to be on for much longer. It could be that I'm going to be on them indefinitely. It could be that I'm on YouTube and Twitter for the next couple years. Could be days, could be months. It's completely unknown. It's a crapshoot. So that's why we need people like myself, especially, need support. Need you to follow. Need you to subscribe. Need you to hit that notification bell. Hit that little ding. And help people like myself grow. That's the best way you can provide some assistance for us. I was just reading a chat. There's an image of Tucker Carlson with the quote, "Millions of Trump supporters stripped nude after voting thanks to self-promotion of a political commentator named after an endless hole. You can't make this up." Hold on. I want to screenshot that. That's hilarious. I'm going to keep that. Yeah, I told you. I'm going to start collecting these things. I'm going to put them in my that little... I'm gonna put that into that cycle of stuff. There we go. I'm gonna hold on to that one. That's hilarious. But going back to what I was talking about here. Um, so other interesting news of the day: Lord and Taylor's filed for bankruptcy. Um, man, it's kind of sad to see like really these long time, over 100-year-old retail companies just go belly up. Lord and Taylor's, for example, can be traced back to 1826. 1826. Crazy. Just crazy. Really, really nuts. But they filed for bankruptcy. I mean, it's not surprising with this whole shift to digital retail. A lot of these companies just have not. It's it's sad to see that. It's sad that these companies just have not adapted to this sort of new world that we live in when it comes to how retail works, from a brick and mortar level to a digital level. I mean, especially Sears. Sears is the biggest one that surprises me when you hear that Sears, they they're basically going belly up too. I don't think they declared bankruptcy just yet, but Sears is doing very poorly. And the thing about Sears to me is, like, they were the original online retailer in a way, because they originally were just all mail order. You didn't go to a store, you didn't do anything like that. They were the original Amazon. They sold everything. And it boggles me. It really surprises me that they have not embraced that history that they have. And it doesn't mean that they have to shut down all their brick and mortars, but they could really embrace that original, original framework and the original, like, image that they had, and the fact that they were the originals that did this. They were the first really popular mail-in order they would bring mail-in order stuff out to the frontier, excuse me, where people wouldn't even want to go, other places. So they have a long history that they could really capitalize on and use the whole retro designs and looks I'm giving Sears ideas right now, like the retro look of their catalogs. See, if I was the CEO of Sears, that's what I would do. And I know this is like, I'm just giving away ideas that I shouldn't be giving away to them, but I think that they really have missed the boat on that one. I think they really have done a poor job at embracing who they were and who they are and their histories. It's a shame. To me, it's a shame. You have other reports. This is hilarious. I love it when people don't like a platform. They claim, like on the left, they claim all of a sudden it's skewed to the right. When Rasmussen, for example, Rasmussen, last I checked, was never an incredibly right-leaning polling organization. I mean, maybe I was naive. I don't know. I've never known it to be purely biased. Though all the other polls that are obviously skewed to the left, those are just fine according to these people, like Sarah Reese Jones, whoever the hell she is. I'm looking at a tweet by her. I guess she's some author and boss at Politicus USA. So some ridiculous public. What is this, like a website or something? Some news, some like low-ranking news organization that nobody cares about. So I don't know. Like, to me, um, the fact that one poll or a couple polls like Rasmussen veers from everything else that you see, like on CNN, ABC, all these other, obviously leftist leaning organizations, I think that speaks volumes to the fact that one, polls can be very biased. First of all, yeah, maybe Rasmussen is leaning to the right. Oh, thank you, sir. Fantastic. I love it. All right, I will add that. I'm gonna try and add that right now. So we add that to the cycling here of my. I need more of those images of my slideshow. That's the word I was looking for. Slideshow. Actually, let me throw it in a different folder first of all. I need to make sure it's in the right folder. But I mean, there's going to be always some skewing and some. I'm gonna try and multitask here. I'm gonna try and keep discussing what I was discussing, and see if I can pull this off here while I'm trying to get this situated. So, but going back to what I was saying is the issue with the polls is that the polls are obviously skewed, especially towards the left. I mean, that was obvious in the last election. Anybody that denies that is just living in a fantasy land. You know? So I don't think that it's unreasonable to say that. Let's see here. But the problem is just saying a polling thing is biased just because you don't like it, like this one that lady that I just quoted from this ridiculous news organization that she has. Then I mean, come on, come on, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that just because you don't like a polling organization, that all of a sudden you're gonna dismiss every single thing that they say. Hello, Super Susie 87. How you doing? Glad to see you here on stream. Um, Here it is. The quote's up. Shalom, hetero alpha god. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Nice. Trust the plan, fellow guys. That's right, DSP official. Oh, I'm glad for that too, Susie. I'm glad your connection is good enough for so you can hear me. I keep missing your streams. I enjoy watching you play those the video games. When's the last time you've done a stream, Susie? I can't remember anymore. I've been on and off Bitwave like crazy. I haven't really been on consistently anymore. Susie is a pedo and lolicon advocate. Okay, that's news to me. No idea. I must have missed something that happened in Bitwave here. I miss everything. I'm always the last to know. Gosh, dang nabbit. No fair. Ah. Yeah, well, internet service, depending where you're at, it can be like really good, or in other places it can just be really, really bad. It sucks. It's not. It's. I hate how inconsistent internet service providers can be just because you happen to be in one location or another. And a lot of it has to do with also how government runs things in that area. Like, if it's a European country or a local government here in the United States, it's not good, generally speaking. She was saying, you were arguing for it yesterday, claiming that pedos are less likely to commit those crimes if they have access to Lolly, Shotokan, or CP. Uh, That's interesting. An interesting argument. I don't know if I would agree with that in any way because I don't think there's any studies that really support that sort of argument. But I mean, in general, to me, I've said it before. Pedophilia to me is disgusting. There's nothing about it that I would argue is normal or fine or it's just not good. Period. An old part of the city, we have to deal with old cable. Since Corona, just no one wants to come to fix. Oh well, that makes it even worse. The fact that nobody wants to go out there, and the farther away you are from inner cities, from like big urban areas, the worse it is for internet for sure. Yeah, that is a good point. Left hand psychopath. It would be interesting to see if those studies exist to see who put their name on that. Probably funded by the Epstein Foundation, I think. No, I'm kidding. Innocent until proven guilty. But he was already proven guilty once, so I could actually talk about him as a pedo. Well, you know, I don't want to get into that kind of discussion because that's not really the point of this stream. I think my coffee's at a good temperature now for me to really chug it. Sorry. I have this clean canteen carafe that keeps it really hot, so I gotta wait a while before I can drink it. And it's frustrating because I want to drink my coffee, but I gotta wait. So it's a catch-22. I like my coffee hot, but I don't want it to just set my tongue on fire. Mm. Ah, coffee. Yes. Hey, Mom Patch. Hello, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. So going back to more news items. Good morning. See, I don't know who sent that. That's the problem with these alerts. It doesn't tell me who does that. And I still don't see any coins from it. So apparently Nevada, another thing that happened was that Nevada's legislature passed bill expanding mail-in voting within the state, which I think is a bad idea. I think it's a very bad idea. It just opens up for fraud. Let's see what Trump says about this. I'm trying to see. Here we go. He says, in an illegal night coup, Nevada's clubhouse governor made it impossible for Republicans to win the state. Post office could never handle the traffic of mail-in votes without preparation, using COVID to steal the state. See you in court. Oh, in the dashboard? Well, look at that. Hey, MZ, yes. I see that now. Hey, so now I can do super chat stuff. So people can, if people want me to read stuff, you can give me an alert. I'll be more than happy to do that. So what do I got here? Let's see. Nice. Very cool. What's happening in chat here? Things are devolving in chat. Hey, don't trash Mom Patch and MZ and Super Susie. Like they've always been super duper nice to me. I I have no complaints. Chat's getting hostile. Oh goodness. So apparently Trump's gonna take this up to court. Yeah. So and there's people. Oh yeah, I had seen this picture. I didn't know what it was, but it was there's a picture of people protesting the Nevada Democrats because they just wow, yeah. So that's awesome that actually I don't have to, I can just use the dashboard instead of using the regular way I pursue stuff here. So that's cool. I appreciate that. Hey, dispatch is actually doing stuff. What, I always say hi in what way? When I say hi, kids? Yeah, it's my way. I think you're thinking of the Hague, not Hag, Hague. Troll JEDF. Dispatch has dual citizenship with Israel. Who knew? That's interesting. Um, but yeah, this sort of thing that the Democrats are pushing so hard on the mail-in voting thing, this really is a big point of concern for people like myself and Republicans because there has been reports of this sort of fraud and issues happening with mail-in ballots on both sides. This isn't even something that's uniquely the left. I've seen reports that there's been fraud reported in mail-in ballots from Republicans, and there's been mail-in ballot fraud on the left from Democrats. So this is something that really needs to be addressed in a like an honest way. This isn't the same thing as, and I know there's been arguments saying, well, this is just like absentee votes, ballots. No, not exactly. They're not exactly the same because there's a different process for absentee voting. Mm-hmm. Maybe a prison of his own making. Who knows? It could be. It could be JEDF. Who knows? Oh, you guys can chat it up as much as you like in chat. It's fine. I can blissfully ignore and just keep talking about the topics I want to talk about. It's not a problem for me. So it wouldn't surprise me that the administration, though, going back to what I was talking about, it wouldn't matter. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that the administration would litigate this because there's a lot of problems with this. So it really is something that I think that just needs to be addressed honestly. Like remove the political side of everything. Another thing that I find very interesting is in the news, it came up here. Oh, they were talking about there's this whole thing that's been going on for quite a while. Um, about the opening of the schools, and I understand the concerns. But this is the thing again, going back to the whole theme of hypocrisy that's on the left. So if anybody made any sort of comment on Chelsea Clinton, or anybody made any sort of comment on the Obama kids, you would have been excoriated. You can't talk about the kids. Leave them out of it. They're untouchables. You can't do that. No. But it's perfectly okay for the left to attack Barron Trump. Right? Because that's what it seemingly is. That, if it's our guy, no, you can't touch our guy. But if it's their guy, oh, you can go ahead and attack the kid as much as you want. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous on its surface. So I just find it disgusting that people do that. That is that. I mean, honestly, I'm the type of person that I don't care if you criticize anybody. I think everybody is open to criticism. If they are children of politician, if they're under 18, then I would argue that if you're going to attack a child that's a minor, first of all, and a child of a politician, I mean, if you're just attacking the child just to get to the politician, I say I don't agree with that. But if there's a legitimate reason to criticize like the child's behavior, like for example, you had the Bush daughters that were just these drug taking party goers. Okay. Then if you don't agree with that sort of lifestyle, their acts are fair game, in my opinion, for critique. Much like one of them, I think it was Sasha. I can't remember which one of the two Obama girls was caught smoking weed at a party, and they took a picture of her. She was booty dancing. I don't agree with that, so I am going to critique that, and I am going to critique her parents, especially as a minor. Her behaviors, in my opinion, are a direct reflection of parents, of how the parents raised these kids. So to me, I don't believe in this. You can't touch or talk about the kids in any shape, way, or form. I do say that if you're going to be criticizing children, you have to criticize their actions, not just use a child as a bludgeoning instrument towards a politician that you don't like. That I don't agree with. Just attacking the child for no reason, because Barron has done nothing wrong here. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything inappropriate. He's just him. And they're using him to get to Trump because Barron's school apparently decided they didn't want to open for face-to-face lessons. So they're saying that Trump is hypocritical for that reason. But listen, Trump has said from the very beginning, we want to reopen the schools if safe. And we want to reopen them in a safe manner. And it's going to be up to the schools to decide how to do that. And Trump's argument is just, listen, if you're going to get money from us, open. If you're not going to open, we'll give money to the parents. I don't see what's wrong with that, frankly. If the schools aren't going to be doing their job, why give them money? To me, it's a legitimate argument. Now, you could definitely have a sit down and work out the details of that and find maybe a middle ground or anything like that, but nobody's interested in that. Everybody's just interested in attacking because Trump said it or Betsy DeVos said it. Not because they want to actually look at the merit of the discussion in any shape, way, or form. You even had Cavuto on Fox News not even let Betsy DeVos talk. He just kept talking over her when she first started proposing this and talking about this sort of thing in the news. Didn't even care to give her the time of day. Apart from the serious lack of respect towards guests on his show, that just shows clearly the bias that these people have. That they're not interested in an open and honest discussion. Again, hypocrisy. Seems to be the main theme of today's stream, don't it? Oh boy. Oh, another thing that came up in the news that I wanted to talk about was that Microsoft says that it will pursue talks to buy TikTok in the US after consulting President Trump. See, my thing is this, okay? Great. If an American company wants to buy TikTok, I think that's fine, but I don't know if Microsoft has a really great track record when it comes to dealing with China, first of all. I haven't heard of them having a great track record. If I recall, back in the day, they actually modified their browser I think they modified Internet Explorer to conform to some of the demands of the Chinese dictatorship, essentially. I could be wrong. I don't remember the full details of that anymore. I remember seeing a couple articles about that way back in the day. But apart from that, Microsoft has not been a saint as a company in terms of their data mining processes, their product quality, their how they view their user base and their data. They have not been saints about this at all. And let's forget about that for a moment. Let's just talk about the products in general. Windows 10 is trash. Okay? Windows 10 is trash. When Microsoft touched Hotmail, it turned it into crap. When Microsoft touched Skype, it turned it into crap. Windows Phone, anybody? That didn't turn out very well. Internet Explorer, as I already mentioned. MSN Messenger, anybody remember that beautiful hunk of code? Worst messenger on the planet. Microsoft has the reverse Midas touch. Whenever they touch something, instead of turning to gold, it turns to shit. That's really what it boils down to. Microsoft is trash as a company. Their products are trash, and they really don't care about their user base. They play politics. Former owner of Microsoft, Bill Gates, wants to vaccinate people and not give them a choice. He says it's not your choice when it comes to being vaccinated. This is the guy that started this company. And do you think that philosophy does not permeate? Well, turning TikTok into crap is acceptable. Yeah, I would have to possibly agree, because TikTok already, to me, is I don't like it as a platform. It seems to me like a breeding ground for a lot of garbage. Apart from the whole privacy issues, and apart from all the stuff and stuff that happens in the app for the Chinese government. I mean, the privacy concerns. I mean, I'm not even talking about that. These kind of Vine videos, these little clippy video social media platforms. I don't know. I see a lot of garbage on that, and it's a platform that can be used for a lot of bad things. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I think it's better to just ban it outright. If Microsoft wants to buy it, whatever, I would still ban it for now. And then maybe you would revisit it to see. But the thing is this. There should be really an audit, in my opinion, of apps, of all apps that are on the market, and see what sort of data and what I was saying. I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. What I was trying to say is that there's plenty of apps in America by Google, by Facebook. I mean, Facebook is basically a virus on your phone. It spies on everything. We should probably be banning that. You know? Sorry, just reading what chat is saying. Yeah, maybe. That may be the case. If something is crap already, the only way for it to go after would be to turn to gold. Maybe. But the point is, there's plenty of terrible apps here in the United States that are built by American companies, such as Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. You have app stores where you can have Twitter and Parler and Minds, but somehow Gab doesn't apply, even though it's the same exact style of platform. It's just the political idiocy that you see within tech is mind-boggling, frankly. And on top of that, I was saying, maybe there should be some sort of auditing process. And I don't know if I would want the government to do this or not, but I think that there should be some some way to really get a good handle on what data is being mined by the apps that are on your phone. There's a couple of services out there. There's one called boy, let me see. I have this actually on my phone because I was playing around with it. Jumbo. There's one called Jumbo that it, apparently or supposedly what it does is look at like the different apps that you have on your phone, different services. So like if you have Instagram or if you're signed into Google in any way, it'll monitor the kind of data that is being used by those apps. And on one side, one could go, well, hey, yeah, cool, all right, that's great, you can show me what those apps are actually doing. But on the other side, then my concern turns into, well, what is Jumbo doing with that? Are they looking at my data? Do they see that? Do they see, because I got to connect to all my different platforms through this one, funnel. And that definitely is a concern, especially in this day and age. It's so difficult to find trustworthy companies because everybody says, oh, we respect our users. Oh, we respect your privacy. Everybody says that. Facebook says that. Google says that. Twitter says that. And it's not true. They're lying to your freaking face. They're lying through their teeth. Yet, we're supposed to believe that. So now, when all these other companies that legitimately may even say so, may even be, be truthful in what they're saying, now they cast doubt. Those companies like Google and Facebook have cast doubt on the other companies now because of their deceptive practices. So we're there. We're in this situation now, and I at least I can appreciate companies trying. We'll have to see how successful these kind of companies are. I'm gonna play around with that app, for example, like I mentioned, and see if it's any good for me because I do care about privacy. And if I'm forced to use a phone with iOS or I'm forced to use a phone with Android, I'm going to do my damnedest to strip away anything that's Google. And I'm going to do my damnedest to strip away anything that's Apple. I'm going to do my damnedest to try and protect my data and privacy. Because it's none of their business. My data is mine. And even if it's innocent, even if it's just like, oh, I'm going to go and have cupcakes today and I put it in my calendar. They don't need to see that. They don't need to mind that. They don't need to keep that. They don't need to do anything with that. Unless I decide to share it with them and say you can use that data for whatever crap you use it for. I don't know. So, and this whole argument, there's this big argument that I will say this one final point about this. There's this big argument that I've had with people, engineers specifically. They're like, well, it's all algorithmic. It's all automated. No human eyes actually take a look at this stuff. And as someone who's an engineer myself, I would say that is bullshit. Okay? As a programmer, I can access the databases whenever I want. I can create duplicate tables for testing purposes. I can go through, and to create algorithms, I need to look at the data. I need to study the data. I need to create the algorithms based on the data that I have. So if anybody argues that nobody can see this stuff because it's all algorithmic or there's just so much data, there's no point in anybody looking at it, that's besides the point. The data is there. It's accessible. It's viewable. It's hackable. Because any system is hackable. So I don't agree with any sort of ridiculous claim of that kind. Because to me, as someone who's been in that world and is in that world, and most likely will be in that world for a while, um, unless this really takes off. Support, follow, share. Anyways, then to me, those sort of arguments just don't hold water. Simple. It just doesn't. It just doesn't hold water. I think I'm gonna go into this last piece, and well, as I was saying, I kind of got sidetracked because I saw something here on Twitter that I thought I was gonna comment on, but I'd rather not. So there's this big thing against Ellen DeGeneres right now. It seems like there's trouble in Ellen land. Because there's a lot of accusations of her show creating a toxic workplace for her employees. Now, I've read a couple articles about this, and a lot of details. The problem is this, okay? There's a lot of details that are missing about what's happening exactly, and what level of knowledge people have here and there. So this is kind of just a generic rundown of what's happening here. Like, you have Ellen, who's the big star of the Ellen DeGeneres show. You know, the Ellen Show, whatever it's called. I don't watch it, so I don't even know the exact title. And you have basically three producers, like executive producers or producers that work on the show, who run a lot of the inner workings of it, right? So you have employees that have complained about the kind of environment that there is. There have been claims of racist remarks, such as one person saying, "I only remember the names of white people that work here, not because of the black people that work there," which is kind of bad on its surface there. But you also have some other claims which I find are somewhat ridiculous. There's this one person in particular that was interviewed, and she kept saying, that she would bring up all these issues, like, don't use the term spirit animal. It's disrespectful towards Native Americans and things like that, which is dumb. Spirit animal, there's nothing disrespectful about it. If you appreciate that sort of cultural thing of Native Americans and their spiritual beliefs of spirit animals and things like that, what's wrong with embracing that? And I mean, on the show, when Ellen, the few times I've seen clips of her, like if I'm getting my tires rotated and they have Ellen on the TV, things like that, I've seen some clips of the show. It's not like I've never seen it at all. There's context. That's what I mean. It's like, if this person kept bringing up all these issues and then she felt she was being dismissed and she now claims it's a toxic workplace, I'm sorry, that's stupid. That's dumb. However, there are some of the other claims that I've read in the article. Some do seem quite problematic. And some people are saying, well, Ellen should know. She should have been in the know. It's her show. Her name is on it. She's responsible ultimately. And I say, well, yes and no. It really depends on what level of Is that true? One of our top producers was caught playing hide the salami under his desk as a casting couch with other men. Really? Do you have an article that says that? Because the ones that I saw didn't mention anything about that. But I mean, she has a big PR problem in general. I mean, because a lot of people there's like yeah, it's an allegation, I'm sure. But I mean, is there an article that's actually, like, because I didn't see that in any of the articles that I saw. But what I'm saying is that regardless of the allegations, be it something like that or be it more minor, like a minor transgression of that kind, you have over like 10 or 12 people at this point saying that there's a toxic work environment, that they're pushed out. If they went on sick leave, then their position was eliminated. Things of that. There's a lot of issues basically that some are really legitimate issues that need to be looked at and some are not, and then you don't know what level of involvement Ellen had in the day-to-day operations of her show. So a lot of people are saying, well, the whole theme of the show and mantra was be kind, but that was only for show, and in reality it was a lot less kind in the background. So Ellen has a lot of issues right now. What's trending is replace Ellen. The interesting thing for me is this, more than anything. In the past, what I have noticed, like with the left and Democrats and everybody of that same kind of ideology, this kind of leftist progressive ideology, is that there's been this lockstep for the longest time. It's been basically this cult-like, everybody thinks the same way, they act the same way, they behave the same way, they speak the same way. And then you start seeing this stuff happen over and over and over again. This sort of self-immolation that's happening on the left. I find it very interesting because it's like it's turned into a kind of a, if you're not left enough, even if you're on the left, if you're not left enough for me, then I'm going to just immolate you. Well, it's not just entertainment. It happens in politics. It happens in academia. It happens in different areas too. G Gallon. By the way, hi G Gallon. Welcome to the stream. So I think that it's an interesting thing, that this self-cancel culture, basically. But it's been happening more and more. That's the thing. You didn't really see such public self-immolation that's happening on the left. Oh, hey, I'm glad to be the background noise, sir. I just find it interesting because on the right, for the longest time, it is no secret that on the right, there's a lot of bickering that happens and a lot of back and forth and a lot of fighting that happens. That's nothing new. There has always been this sort of family relationship on the right where people just keep arguing with each other and you know, but overall, generally speaking, not always, but at least a percentage of people, no matter where they are on the spectrum on the right, we still kind of go, well, we're all still conservatives, we're just different flavors of it. The left instead has this kind of strict boundaries that they've said, like, if you don't abide by this, you're just not woke enough. Like, if you don't abide by this small sliver of ideology that keeps changing, by the way, it's not like it's a strict ideology that has defined parameters. Those borders keep changing. And I've seen many a time where, you know, the borders change. Yeah, it's Hollywood blacklisting and McCarthyism, absolutely. Oh no, it's not new at all. It isn't, but to me, the thing that I find fascinating about what I'm seeing today is that it's much more prominent. Like, you see it explode on the news all the time. And there's like very little wiggle room of what is this definition of being woke, that you have to, like, you have companies destroying their profits because they're trying to fit this little mold that keeps changing on them. That's what I mean. Like, there's this slow self-flagellation that's happening because it's like, look at me, I'm woke, look how woke I am. No, really. And it's happening on all sides. On all sides, like on the political left, like normal, regular, middle of the road Democrats no longer exist anymore. pro-life Democrats are a thing of myth now. Thing of the past. Is that's long gone, for example. A Bill Clinton of the 1990s, he would not survive today as a leftist politician. He would not survive as a Democrat. Because he was too middle of the road at the time. It worked for that political climate at the time, but not today. No, today would never work. That's kind of what I mean. There's this continuous shift and this narrowing of what it means to be within the acceptable bubble, so you don't get canceled by the cancel culture. And the problem is that this bubble keeps changing in size, and the borders keep, like I said, it's something that's constantly in flux. So these people are constantly struggle to adapt to something that they just can't simply adapt to. Eventually, everybody is going to get canceled. In the way that this thing works, everybody is going to get canceled at one form or another. There's just no way you can please everybody. No, by my logic, AOC should not be president. At all. She should be banned from politics, period. Socialism should be banned in the United States. You should not be allowed to have socialism in our government. Or communists. Or Marxists in general. Anyone who abides by a Marxist ideology should not be allowed to run for office, in my opinion. Biden will not survive. I don't think Biden... Listen, besides the ridiculous skewed polls that you see, Biden can't even gather a crowd. Biden cannot get a crowd together. The people on the left, I've spoken to many people on the left and Democrats, they are absolutely unhappy with Biden. Well, there are people that want her to be president, and according to what I'm talking about the small sliver of woke leftists. This isn't all the left. The small sliver of woke leftists and cancel culture leftists want the most extreme to be the norm. So they would want people like AOC to be president. That's the issue. That's the issue here. This isn't really a mainstream thing. This is something that you see. It's just these are loudmouths that are on social media. It's a small group of people at the end of the day, percentage-wise. Because most Democrats and most people on the left, they're not that extreme if you talk to them. Like I said, I know plenty of people that are on the left, and I can have perfectly civil discussions with them. We may not agree on everything. But even they acknowledge the extremism of certain things that they've seen in the media. Yeah, I've heard that Susan Rice is a suggestion. There's a lot of people that have been on the short list. I said this before, I'll say it again. I don't see any candidate on any list. I don't see how anybody is going to save Biden's campaign at this point. Will there be a boost when he selects someone? Sure, because there's gonna be media fanfare. There's gonna be people that are gonna support it. You have already people like Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano has already said, we gotta support the VP pick. It doesn't matter who it is. We just gotta support him. Or her, I guess in this case, because it's gonna be a her. We just have to support the ticket. Doesn't matter. And this is a big problem with, like I said, it's a small sliver of people with the vote blue no matter who kind of thing. It's this cultist mentality that's like, who cares how terrible your candidate is? Or how corrupt your candidate is? or how ridiculous your candidate is, or how dumb your candidate is. In the case of AOC, how incredibly stupid this woman is. But they have a D on the at the end of their name, so I gotta vote that. No, that is the worst possible thing you could do as a citizen when exercising your vote, your right to vote. You need to do the right thing. You need to vote for the candidate that's supposed to be the best candidate for the job. Biden cannot string two words together. Even on a pre-recorded commercial, the guy fumbles. Okay? Whoever they have as a VP is basically going to be running the show. And I can tell you that it's not gonna help, because anybody that they pick, if they pick Kamala Harris, she had 0 to virtual no support in the primary. She had 3%. Susan Rice, she lied to the American people. There's a lot of baggage on her. That woman from Georgia who can't accept her loss, and they said that maybe they should put her up there. Why? You want a crybaby having a tantrum all the time because she couldn't win? Is that really what you want for governing? Give me a break. Hey mom, EG Death Squad on D Live. Thank you for joining the stream. Like, is that really what you want? Do you want Elizabeth Warren, who pretended to be a Native American to gain the position that she's in? And lied to people? Biden said I'm causing trouble? Uh-oh. I keep a good distance between me and Joe Biden. I don't want him sniffing me. Who else is out there? Who else was out there? Klobuchar? Well, she's white, so she's off the list. Does he see? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she was good or not, because she's white. The Democrats are going to be racist and say if you're white, you can't qualify. They're going to discriminate by race, which is the definition. Michelle Obama, that's a possibility. I hate to admit it, but it's a possibility. And the thing is, she's still a terrible candidate. The only few things that she did as first lady have been absolute flops. She has shown great disdain for this country. She also has a lot of problems that could easily be exploited to cut her down. Well, they haven't left DC mostly because they're still working on this soft coup, honestly. I don't know. I don't know. They may be saying that. I don't believe it's a surprise. I believe that they've been working on this for a long time because they're really, really, really trying to see how they can save Biden's campaign. I don't believe it's a last minute thing. They're going to claim that. And the only way they could really throw a curveball is if they really, really choose someone who's almost an absolute unknown. That's the only possibility. But if they choose an unknown, the problem that they run into is that the fact that this person is an unknown doesn't have the clout, doesn't have maybe the experience, doesn't have the credentials to kind of prop up Biden. That's going to be a huge uphill battle for them to go through in these last months of campaigning. I just don't think it's a wise idea for them to do that. Not that I really particularly want to give them pointers or anything like that, but I just don't think that there's any viable candidate at this time that could really help Biden's campaign. I really don't think there is. unless they choose someone who is more middle of the ground to kind of cut into like a more mild conservative. I mean, a more mild Democrat. But that's a thing of the past again. That doesn't really exist anymore. You have some Democrats in Congress that don't really follow suit. I've seen a lot of those. Actually arguments and videos and photos that's supposedly supposed to be evidence that Michelle Obama is really a man. I gotta say it's pretty damn funny. I'm not gonna lie. And some of those photos, they do kind of make you scratch your head and wonder. I'm not gonna make any such claims or anything on my stream here. I'm just gonna say that it's hilariously funny to watch those videos and see those claims. That's all I'm gonna say. But I have been streaming for goodness about an hour and a half or so, almost 2 hours now. I think it's a good point to call it a day here. So as always, I want to thank everybody for watching on all the various platforms. I want to thank everybody on D Live. I want to thank everybody on YouTube and Periscope. I want to thank everybody, especially on Bitwave. And it's wonderful always spending some time with you guys. Well, it's not just a shoulder width thing with Michelle. There's some pictures that, let's just say, it shows like there's more meat in certain parts of her than there should be. Certain pictures show some of that. Again, I'm not making any claims here. I'm not saying that she's a dude. I'm not. All I'm saying is, if you look at those videos and you look at the photos, they're hilarious. And some of them make you scratch your head a little and go, huh. I don't know. I'm going to shrug my shoulders on that one. I think she does work out. So I think she definitely does work out. So that's why she does have some, like, she's got some biceps going on her. That's for sure. But yeah, she has some guns too. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna make any claim on my stream here or anything like that. I'm just gonna say, if you want some entertainment, check those out. They are funny. They are really funny. Yeah, I'm perfectly of sound mind. I'm gonna stop here before I get, any sort of cabal, the Obama cabal or Clinton cabal on my case. I'm of sound mind. I have no intentions of doing self-harm, just for the record. And with that, I want to let everybody go. I want to say again, thanks for everybody for watching. Support me if you can. Follow me on all the platforms, especially following and sharing and hitting the notification bell. That's the best thing you can do for me right now to help this grow. So, as always, kids, remember, don't be complacent, especially you people in Michigan. Go vote. And other states, go vote. Get conservatives in there. Don't be complacent. Have a good day, kids. We'll see you tomorrow around the same time, 10 a.m.